everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Tonya and today is December TBR day. So we're going to be picking out all the books that I'm going to be reading in the month of December, and as I'm sure is the case with many of you, I cannot believe we've actually made it to December already and that we're going to be moving into 2026 in a month. It's just crazy. So as we are in the holiday times, I have my little gingerbread house here that is going to act as my TBR jar for today. And inside of it, I have all of my TBR prompts, and I typically pick out 5 to 6. We're going to kind of just see how it goes, whether I do 5 or do end up doing 6. Kind of depends on the length of the books and what I pick. But I do have a couple of books that I do want to get to this month. I just got an arc of The Wolf King, and I have to have that read by December 9th, so I don't have a lot of time to get that one done. And then I also got an arc of, I believe it's called Arcane Inheritance, and that one comes out the end of December, so I want to make sure I get to that one this month too. So those are kind of what's on my radar. Let's see what the TBR gingerbread house gives us. Hopefully the TBR gods smile down on us today. Alright, so for the first pick, and you know, all my stuff sticks together. It is what it is. Let's see. I have a book. That'll focus. A book with a plant on the cover. So let's see what options we have. First, let me take a look at those 2 arcs. The arcs I have are through NetGalley. And you don't have to have a huge following to get an arc from NetGalley. As you can see, I don't have that big of a subscriber count currently, and I was still approved, and I get approved for tons of arcs, so give it a try. I'll have a link to NetGalley down below. So if you do like to kind of be reading new releases and trying different authors, it's a great service. So like I said, I'll leave that link down below for you. Alrighty. So The Wolf King, it'll focus. So The Wolf King does have plants on the cover. And I am going to just go ahead and go with that one. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time to read it, so I definitely want to get to that this month. That way I can review it. So first prompt, a book with a plant on a cover. We're going with The Wolf King. So if you're not familiar with this book, here's a little bit of the synopsis. When a princess is kidnapped by an alpha, so an alpha, if you're not aware of, is a wolf, war rages between the humans and the wolves, but soon forbidden attraction starts to grow. Princess Aurora longs to escape the castle and the marriage that has been arranged for her. But on the night before the wedding, at a dogfight where captured werewolves are made to fight for sport, she spares the life of a young wolf. It puts her on the radar of the powerful alpha who was going to kill him, and it changes everything. That night, when the alpha escapes, he kidnaps her and takes her to the rugged lands north of the border, where the once warring werewolf clans are beginning to unite. He thinks that she is the key to winning the war against the humans. And I also believe this book has a love triangle in it. I'm not always the biggest fan of love triangles, so we'll kind of just see how this one develops. There have been books that I've read that had triangles in them that I liked, but more often than not, it's not really my thing. All right, now we're going to move on to pick number 2. And it is a popular book club pick. So let's see what we may have for that. I don't know that I have a lot of book clubby kind of books, but we'll take a look. So I feel like I have seen some people's book clubs reading The Spell Shop, so that could be an option. I've been wanting to get to this one. I've also seen some book clubs doing Immortal Consequences. My other arc could not be a book club pick because it's not out yet. I know on my Kindle I also have Blood Over Brighthaven, which I feel like that one has been a book club pick, and I've had that one for quite a while on my Kindle and just haven't got around to reading it yet. But I think we are going to go with The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. I don't read a lot of cozy fantasies, but fall, winter, I feel like would be a good time for a cozy fantasy. And here's a little piece of the blurb for this book. Keela has always had trouble dealing with people. Thankfully, as a librarian at the Great Library of Elysium, she and her assistant Kaz, a magically sentient spider plant, has spent the last decade sequestered among the Empire's most precious spellbooks, preserving their magic for the city's elite. When a revolution begins and the library goes up in flames, she and Cass flee with all the spellbooks they can carry and head to a remote island Keela never thought she'd see again, her childhood home. Taking refuge there, Keela discovers, much to her dismay, a nosy and very handsome neighbor who can't take a hint and keeps showing up day after day to make sure she's fed and to help fix up her new home. In need of income, Keela identifies something that even the bakery in town doesn't have: jam. With the help of an old recipe book her parents left her and a bit of illegal magic, her cottage garden is soon covered in ripe berries. So this one just sounds super cute. I'm sure that Kaz, the sentient spider plant, is amazing. And, you know, there's a jam shop. That has to be fun. So I expect this to be a really good read. Not necessarily plot heavy, but perfect for the fall and winter months. Now we're going to move on to our third pick. And we got pick a new release. And I think for this one, I'm going to take some liberties because I can. So for our third pick, we're going to do An Arcane Inheritance by Camilla Cole. And technically, this is not out yet, but it's releasing on December 30th. So it is a new release in the month of December. And I really want to get to it because I have an arc of it. So we're gonna roll with it. And then let me give you just a little bit of the blurb in case you're not familiar with this book. I don't feel like it's got a ton of press so far, so you may not have heard of it. And it's described as a modern day dark academia. Ellery Morgan is determined to prove that she belongs at Warren University, an Ivy League school whose history is deeply linked to occult rumors and dark secrets. But as she settles into her freshman year, something about the ornate buildings and shadowy paths feels strangely familiar. And with every passing day, that sense of deja vu grows increasingly sinister. Despite all logic, despite all reason, despite all the rules of reality, Ellery knows one thing to be true. She has been here before. And if she can't convince brooding legacy student Hudson Graves to help her remember a past that seems determined to slip through her fingers as if by some insidious magic, this time she may lose herself for good. So I just think that sounds like an interesting twist on the dark academia. It'll be interesting to see if that deja vu was like a past life or what the deja vu might actually be. So I'm excited to see how this book is. And this is a new author for me, so that's also a bonus. I've been trying to read more new authors this year, so really interested to pick this one up. So I'm excited that we've already got the two books that I wanted to get on here on the TBR for December. So now anything else is like just a bonus at this point. So for prompt number 4, we got an epic fantasy. Now, in November, I did read 2 epic fantasies. I read The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, and the first book in the Demon Wars saga by R.A. Salvatore, which I think is called The Demon Awakens. But I don't have the second books on my TBR cart, though I would be willing to go out and buy one of the second books, because I don't necessarily know that I want to be in the middle of 3 epic fantasies at once. That seems like it may be a bit much for my brain. So I think what we're gonna do for this one, because I know I have some Barnes & Noble gift cards. So for this one, we're gonna go with The Hunger of the Gods, Book 2 of the Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwynne. Out of the 2 series I started last month, this is the one I think I'm enjoying just a little bit more at present. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick this one up, and that will be our 4th pick for December. So let's go ahead and pick number 5. Well, this would have been good for one of my 2 other picks. Pick a NetGalley arc, because I already have 2 arcs on here. But I do have an idea of what I would want to do for this one, because one of the arcs that I have is coming out in January, and that is The Poet Empress by Shin Tao, and this one comes out on January 20th. And let me give you a little bit of the synopsis. In the waning years of the Azalea dynasty, the emperor is dying, the land consumed by famine, and poetry magic lost to all except the powerful. Wei Yin is desperate. After the 5th death of a sibling with her family and village on the brink of starvation, she will do anything to save those she loves, even offer herself as a concubine to the cruel heir of the beautiful and brutal Azalea house. But in a twist of fate, the palace stands on the knife edge of civil war, with trapped in the center at the side of a violent prince. To survive, we must harden her heart, rely on her wit, and become dangerous herself, even if it means becoming a poet in a world where women are forbidden to read, and composing the most powerful spell of all, a ballad of death and love. So, sounds really interesting. The poem magic is also a really interesting twist. So, I did see where Jamie Falk already read this book and she really liked it. So, hoping that I will also like it. But yeah, once I've read it, I'll definitely let you all know my thoughts. All right, so for our 6th and final prompt, let's see what we get here. Continue a series. So I do have a book for this that I've been wanting to get to, and that is Kingdom of the Claw, which is the 2nd book in the Ashen series. The first book is The Road of Bones, which was a surprising 5-star read for me last month. Really enjoyed it. And I don't want to tell you too much about this book in case you haven't read Road of Bones yet, but basically in Road of Bones, we're following Scylla, who has found out there's a lot of things about her past that she wasn't aware of. Her father gets killed as they're trying to travel north to a safe haven city where he thinks the 2 of them will be safe from these things that have happened in the past. And just lots of things ensue from there. This book is also Viking inspired, so you do have a little bit of that feel in the writing as well. So looking forward to reading Kingdom of Claw this month and continuing to learn more about Scylla's past and the magic in the world and her growing relationship with the love interest in the book. Alright, so now just a little recap. This may not be in the order I picked them in. So for a book with a plant on the cover, we're doing The Wolf King. Then for a new release, we're doing Arcane Inheritance, which comes out the end of December. For an epic fantasy, I'm going to pick up book 2 of the Bloodsworn Saga by John Gwynne, which is The Hunger of the Gods. For continuing a series, we're doing Kingdom of the Claw, which is the second book in the Ashen series. For a book club pick, we are doing The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. And for a NetGalley arc, we're doing The Poet Empress by Shen Chao, which comes out in January. So that is it for my TBR for the month of December. Leave me a comment down below letting me know if any of these books are on your radar to read, or if there are any of them that you've read and what you thought of them. Or you can leave me a comment down below about the book you're most looking forward to reading this month. I always like to hear what you guys are reading and what you thought about books, so would love to see your comments down below. Take care, keep reading, and I'll catch you in my next video. Bye!